Today marks the Safe Harbor deadline day in the U.S. That's when electors must settle legal disputes, ratify recounts, and certify results from the November election. This means that once states have rubber-stamped their counts, there's little chance for Donald Trump to continue making unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud. And it takes Joe Biden one step closer to be confirmed as the 46th president of the United States. For more on this, let's go live now to Washington, where we're joined by Ray Suarez. Ray, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. Donald Trump has had dozens of legal challenges, and he's not been successful. Does this represent the end of the road for him?
You would think so. And under normal circumstances, in most presidential elections, it does represent the end of the road. But a member of his legal team, Jenna Ellis, is telling reporters that today's safe harbor certification is not the important date. Next Monday's Electoral College vote is not the important date. In fact, it's January 6th when the new Congress takes its seats and then certifies the presidential vote. So the president's legal team is going to keep on fighting, keep on trying to climb the appellate ladder and hoping to reach the U.S. Supreme Court with its various complaints about the votes in various states. But as you mentioned, so far, the Trump team has almost completely struck out in its efforts in various states around the country to get votes thrown out and change the result between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. So far, it doesn't look like it's going to make any difference, that it's all over but the shouting, but the Trump legal team is vowing to fight on.
It's such a convoluted process, isn't it, Ray? I think we're all tired of it, especially Joe Biden. He must be the one that is the most tired of all this intricacies. He has made some more announcements on his cabinet. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, very important announcements have been made as the United States continues to be ravaged by the coronavirus. Very high-profile appointments have been made in the medical area. The California Attorney General, former member of Congress Xavier Becerra, will be returning from California to Washington to take up the reins as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. He is not a medical personnel. He's a medical professional. He's a career lawyer, but he's deeply immersed in medical issues. He's been leading the United States state government charge to keep the Obamacare provisions of law in force and working across the country. So he's very deeply steeped in the legal part of medicine in the United States. Vivek Murthy, who is already serving as the U.S. Surgeon General, has been asked to stay on by the Biden administration and keep on acting in that capacity as the nation's top doctor. Dr. Anthony Fauci, who President Trump from time to time speculated about firing, will remain in his job at the National Center for Allergies and Infectious Diseases, and a well-known, nationally prominent infectious disease specialist, Rochelle Walensky, will be moving from Massachusetts General, one of the most prominent hospitals in the country, down to Atlanta to serve as the head of the Centers for Disease Control. It's an agency that's gotten a really tough beating during the rise of the pandemic and the continued death toll from COVID-19. So those very key positions in fighting COVID are now in place. And in some ways, the Biden administration, still weeks away from taking charge, is already acting like it's ready to start from day one. If the inauguration was early, they could start early. They're raring to go.
Ray Suarez live for us in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for that update.